Hello, welcome everyone to IoT Day. I am here with Pragati Rai. I am Susanna Raj. I am an independent cognitive science and AI ethics researcher. I worked in human-computer interaction up to 2019, and after that, I started working on my own research and volunteering for many organizations like Data Ethics for All, where I am a program mentor for their brand and communications, and also for Women in AI Ethics, where I am part of the editorial team. And currently, I am also the founder of my own company called AI for Nomads, which is harnessing the power of AI to eradicate poverty and digital illiteracy around the globe, aligned with United Nations 2030 Sustainable Goals. I am here with Pragati Rai, who also, like me, likes to wear many hats and has come through a long journey to founding her own company. So I'll ask her to give you the full story. Pragati, you can go now.
Okay, thank you, Susanna. And your background and qualifications are illustrious, so congratulations on that. um, um, as Susanna said, my name is Pragati Rai. I am a technologist, a published author on mobile security, a recognized thought leader, and a passionate advocate for diversity and inclusion. The roles that I hold currently include uh, Secretary for ISSA India chapter, Chair for Women in Cybersecurity, a passionate worker for uh, kids of migrant workers living in slum areas, and my latest baby, my latest passion, which is I'm the founder of Vivia Dewdrop's Autism Foundation. It is a not-for-profit organization focusing on providing a holistic support to individuals with autism by strengthening the individual himself or herself, their families, and building empathy through the community. So that's my latest NGO.
Wow. And you said my career is illustrious. Oh my gosh. I don't know where to compare it. It's not even comparable. It's amazing. So can I ask you, like, how did you come to this point? I mean, you started as a technologist, right? Your background is in technology, and you worked at Microsoft and all of these big name companies as a systems, director and all of that. So how did you come to this path, like going from there to working with migrant children and with autism?
So, see, Susanna, I'm one of those curious kind of people who really like to try out new things. And I'm not afraid to learn new skills, learn from other people. And I think that's something that has helped me in my journey so far. So I actually started out as a professor. I used to teach kids, I used to teach master's students in computer science. I did that for a couple of years and then moved on to do my own startup in the States, followed by 6 or 7 years as a hardcore developer and engineer. After that, I started working with the developer community and was the uh, first mobile evangelist for PayPal. And I did that for a couple of years. And it was eye-opening to me when I started working with the startups and interacting with them, understanding how they build a business around an idea. So that was very enlightening for me. And then, heading up innovation for APAC region in Deutsche Bank, and then setting up the developer relations team in Microsoft India. So even though I spent 20 years in technology, I really kept moving and acquiring skills during my journey. And so when COVID happened and I was at home and I was thinking, I think this thought was already inside me, but during COVID, when I was at home and I was start thinking, what is it that I really, really want to do? What is it that I want to do next? And what is it that will excite me now? And so I met my co-founder, Shalu Garg. She is a special ed educator, a counselor, 13 years of experience in the States, and then came back to India. I met with her. She's completely devoted to autism. And in my past life, I think I worked with kids with autism and was also part of autistic societies focusing on autism. And so when we started talking, we just hit it off, honestly. And we decided, let's do something together. Let's build something for individuals with autism. We found a very sorry state of affair with 1 in 56 kids being recognized with ASD. So we decided to set up a center which provides end-to-end support to them, and starting from early intervention to providing them uh, literacy, to then providing them vocational skills, to helping them with a job placement. So we've just started on this journey. And I'll tell you, Susanna, all the skills that I picked up in the corporate beat, in the marketing team, in the program management team, in the compliance team, you name it, all of them are coming together to help me with setting up this company. So that's where I am. Just started. Let's see. Fingers crossed, but very hopeful and very positive of what we can do with it.
So it's almost like the universe was, preparing you for this, to start this in 2021, right? It's like, seems like all of your skills and everything came together for this one cause. Like maybe it was meant to be, like that was your purpose of your birth kind of thing, right?
I mean, and you put it rightly, Susanna, because I remember around 18 odd years ago when I started working with two kids who had autism, and I was just going to teach them. I didn't know it will take me or it will come back to me 18 years later, and I'll do something, full fledgedly in this. So I'm very thankful for that experience, and I'm very thankful for what corporate has given me as well, because it has trained me and readied me for this new adventure in my life.
This is you said that you will be providing end-to-end support for them for the autism ASD children. So do you think there is a possibility to use technology in a way to help them, or is that more like human to human?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the beauty of individuals with autism is that they're hyper focused in one area. They're very good with computers. And so when I think of my this journey in a nutshell, really, Susanna, from a creator of tech, now I've become a user of tech for good, right? So I'm using tech heavily, and even for my work with kids of migrant workers. So I set up this computer lab because that's all I know. Set up a computer lab for them, and they're doing exercises in code.org. So see, I'm using the technology that these companies have built up and I've been part of for them. So it's beautiful. I want to bring in the same thing to kids with autism here as well, because they are really, really quick and good with computers and gaming. So that's one thing I want to use. The other thing is, in my career, I used to build communities and evangelize technology. So I'm going to do the same here. I'm going to build communities so that the community is empathetic and aware of the needs of these individuals. They will be communities for good, for a cause. So yeah, I will be using tech heavily. And don't be surprised if I reach out to you, Susanna, and say, hey, I want some companies to build this piece of tech for our special kids. So help us out there.
Yeah, actually, my journey also started in, literally, I took a different turn in 2020 that I saw the migrant crisis and I was like, why is nobody helping them? And I wanted to help them. And I saw one thing that they all had in common was a mobile phone. And I was like, let's use that as an entry point and see how we can leverage that to bring them out of poverty and teach them, digital literacy skills and maybe even do data labeling on a mobile phone. So that is that is the path I am working on. So it seems like you are also on the same area, and I believe that that can only be done by building a community around them, a community of support, because you can't just throw an app on a phone and ask them, that's it, do this and you will earn money. That's not going to work. They need
Yeah.
some support, moral support throughout. So how will you plan to build this community? So it's like you are setting it up at a local area, or how are you going to do it?
So what we have done is we are starting off with building a community with the parents in our center. So a couple of areas that we have really recognized are important. First is the mental well-being of the parents themselves, because a lot of them, actually most of them, are really stressed out, and a lot of them are depressed and they don't know that. So bringing just joy in their life would be a huge positive change, because if they are happy, they'll bring those positive vibes to their to the kids.
Children.
So we started off with bringing them together. We have set up our social media channels. So we are on Twitter. If you search by Virya Autism, we are there. We have a website, viryaautism.com. We are on Insta. And I really want to use the power of social media to build a global community for our individuals. And and especially for parents, I really want to do some fun activities with them. Like I remember when we would conduct hackathons or meetups, uh, we would have we would talk technology, but we would also have lots of fun. So same concepts here. We want them to have fun, and we also want them to learn something new. Financial independence for these individuals, how to make them productive. Otherwise, as they grow older, it's just a life wasted. So how can we teach them those skills so that they become productive citizens of the world and can earn their respect? They don't want pity, they want the respect, but that needs to be earned. So how can we empower them? So that's what I want to do. That is one reason I'm here as well, because I know the community here is all thinking in those lines, just like yourself, Susanna, as well, right? So I want to spread as much awareness as I can and
Okay.
invite people to join us in this journey.
Okay. So, and can you tell us that you have a very unique name for your
Mhm.
organization? Can you tell us a story behind that?
So, so Virya is a Sanskrit word, and in Buddhist philosophy, it means energy. So lots of energy, and our logo is dewdrops, and it has a significance in terms of numerology as well. So we want to have all positive vibes coming to us. So we really want a lot of energy to really brighten up these individuals. So that's why we called it Virya dewdrops. So
Really,
that's what Virya dewdrops. Yeah.
awesome. That's incredible. I was telling you, I knew there would be a story behind that name because it seemed so unique, and that's why I wanted to I wanted to
Yeah.
ask you about that. So, the in autism there is like a spectrum, right? There are like highly functional and low functional, verbal, non-verbal, and all of
Mhm.
that is there. And very recently, like 1 year ago, I met somebody who actually said she's an AI expert. Her name is Loretta Cheeks. She
Mhm.
actually said that people with autism actually think like a computer, like the same way that a computer, processes information. That's how they process. And once you learn that, and then you can actually help them to process the world around them. So, but that also depends on the level of severity of the disorder, right? So, how do
Mhm.
you plan to implement technology and your community support throughout all of those spectrums?
Yeah. So you brought two very good points, Susanna. One is, yes, this is a spectrum. There are people who are at the lower end of the spectrum where, we can do some quick remedial therapies. Like, there's a kid who won't be able to, who doesn't utter a word up until like 6 years of age. So
Hmm.
those are just with some therapies, we can help them out to all the way where they're on wheelchair or they're not growing mentally or physically. So that's the extreme phase. And interestingly, a lot of people who have done great things in the world, like Steve Jobs or even Bill Gates, people point out, are mildly autistic. And that's because they have a hyper focus on one thing. And that's the second point you brought out, that they think like a computer because they are hyper focused. We are normal human beings, so we think of 10 different things together. They just focus on one thing, and that one thing, what they do extremely, extremely well. The second thing is they don't have this need for social acceptance like we do. You know, we want to look good, we want to be liked. They could care less about what people think of them. And I think that's a hugely powerful thing, because if we minus the societal the
acceptance.
The energy we spend on getting accepted in the society, we can do a lot more. So these individuals don't have that. So that's why they are blessed. We come in our center. Kids come who, we mix rice and pulses. They can quickly sort it all out. And I can't even think of how they do that. They're tiny little particles. They can quickly sort it out, this, and they're done. Some of them are avid gamers. Some of them sing songs and they know everything about the songs. So each one is very, very different and very, very blessed. And so we want to use technology, first of all, because people, even now, as you speak about, the imaging thing, once they get into it, right, they just get into it. Things that we can't see, they will be able to see because they can focus. Their 100% energy and focus is on that. So I think, as I talked to you, Susanna, you brought that really good idea that, I think maybe we should partner with these companies who need this hyper focus. Right now, what these individuals really land up jobs as testers for video games, because if the game is fail-proof by them, nobody else can find a bug then. Tested every nook and corner of the game. So that's one thing, but I really believe they can come up with ideas that we can't think of. So I want to, they already are very comfortable with mobile and computers because no social interaction is required. It's the computer in them. So definitely we want to use that. We want to use social media for spreading awareness and, want to bring the whole global community to help out this cause. It's growing.
There's definitely a possibility you should look into bringing them into data annotation, audio annotation, and image labeling annotation for AI, because with their hyper focus, they can literally, master that skill, and it could be also an avenue for them to earn an income as they grow older. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the final intent, that they're able to find a job that they are comfortable in, and they are not dependent on anybody for their needs.
So if you are like sending out a call to the universe in terms of asking for help with your new organization, what are the 3 or 4 things that you will ask?
Wow, you've given the world to me, Susanna. Wow, what would I need? Oh, well, I think everything boils down to those 2 words, which is diversity and inclusion. Right? I see schools which call themselves inclusive and accept these kids. They give them a different badge, so they're easily recognized. They make them sometimes wear a different T-shirt, so they're easily recognized. This is inhumane in my eyes, right? And a lot of times when these individuals go into the workforce, right? Because they're a little socially not appropriate sometimes, their actions, because they don't have that need. Of course, the onus is on our part as well to train them and to provide them with, or how should I put it, the ways the society works, but have a little more empathy there and try to assimilate them. So those are that's the only thing I would ask of, if I could ask the universe, give more empathy and give people the ability to accept diversity and be inclusive in real terms.
Yes, that's what we are all working for, right? To have that empathy and to actually include everybody at the table. But that's a universal call. That's a huge commitment on all of us that we are working. But how about something that's one of your needs for your organization? You should also put out a call for that. What are the needs of your organization that can be taken care of now? How are you funding it, and how are you setting up everything?
So right now we are self-funding it. We do accept donations from parents. Give us some donations. We do have to charge some fees because our teachers are very expensive as well. So funding is definitely something that we need. Anybody who wants to donate, we have a donate button on our website. It's called viryaautism.com. That's our URL. And also, we're looking for volunteers. If you have business ideas where we can use the help of these individuals, please bring those to us. We will be happy to train our individuals so that they can pick it up as a job. We also have a need for toys. We also have a need for stationery, these kind of things. And we are really hoping to put out a list of things that we need: markers, stationery papers, color papers, small things, but they just help bring out the creativity of the kids. We need volunteers, plenty of them. Just a simple act of taking them out for a lunch would be a huge experience. So instead, if people who can't give us money, please give us your time. 1 hour or 2 hours, take them out for lunch and then bring them back. It's a huge experience for them. Or just babysit or play with them for 1 hour and see, and we get that. And I can see that it just brings a new spark of energy in them. So plenty of calls.
So you have a lot of needs, and so you are located in India, right?
We are located in India, in Bangalore, and we were initially hoping to set up a new center also, but with the COVID and the situation, we just put our plans on hold. But what we really want to do is we want to set up a group of volunteers, of teachers who can help out these kids in remote areas of the world. Not every small location can afford a center. Right? So if we can provide training, so we do provide training to individuals who are willing to volunteer, and then we want to match them up with individuals with autism so they can go to their home or pick up a convenient place and work with these kids or individuals wherever they are in their own language. So that's the next steps that we want to do. If we have software engineers who would want to help build this app for us, we will gladly take it, right?
So you have you need app builders also. So that's another call out. Yes,
that's another call out.
Yes.
Why are you bringing out the calls? You're asking this question.
Yes,
we need that app, and right now we really can't fund it, right?
Yes.
Until so yeah, we need somebody to help us build that app. If somebody is working on a hackathon idea for good, here is one thing that you could take.
Yes. There is an hackathon coming up in Women in AI. You should actually put out your call there. I can
Oh,
send you those
wonderful.
details. Yes.
Yes,
And
please.
there is a community in data ethics for all the organization that I volunteer for, and you can also put out a call there, and there are many people who might actually take up your calls.
Oh, please.
so
Thank you.
so you have lots of avenues there. So
Yeah.
can I ask you, like, what is the age group of your kids now?
So 2 to 20 years.
2 to
So
20 years.
20 years. So we have an individual who's 20 years old, and we have currently in our center, the smallest is 3 years old. So this is the age group. We want to make it end to end. We also want to look at what would these individuals do when they are, say, 60 years of age or 40 years of age. Because in a lot of times what happens is the families just want them out of their lives, so they put them in a daycare where they are there from Monday to Friday, and they come Friday evening sometimes, and they spend the weekend and go away, and all they do there is eat, sleep, or do some basic activities. But there is a lot more potential. There's a lot more that they can do, and that possibility excites me. So, yeah.
It will be so they need lifelong support, like a supporting community around them, right?
Around them, so that so that the community, they can sustain themselves, they can be productive till the last breath of their life, and they don't, nobody calls them a burden or feels as such. So like in India, I was thinking, even if we equip them with enough skills so they can open up a shop with the support of a few, maybe a family member or support staff, they'll be on their own.
Yes, that's quite a, that would be ideal for them also. I believe if there is a supporting community around them, then it is easier for them to rely on for everything, like from financial to mental health support. So it's
Yeah. So
yeah.
if they have a shop, they can take care of the shop if they are very good at sorting out of things. We would need somebody help them with the accounting part, like you said,
Yes.
right? Just go check on them once a day. Are they
Yes.
okay? Because there are a lot of people who exploit them as well. So when they put those there, um, they're vulnerable. And that's where Sudha had last time talked about AI ethics. All I wanted to ask was, when you are creating AI, are you taking into account this set of people who are really vulnerable and who will use whatever you put out there? And are they safe? Is what my question was.
So how will you answer that question?
So the way I would answer this question is, when you are designing um, AI programs, make sure you have people who understand autism or understand other areas of I focus on autism, but there are other areas that need to be taken care of on the board or on the group as you design it. You test them out with these individuals, how they use them. Are you even Do you even have a data set that comprises of these individuals and how they use it? So, I mean, because they would just take whatever comes their way. They are not aware of. So I want them to start off with these questions, at least have their data set, at least have it tested with them. And as you design, think about them. This is the most vulnerable group of people in our society.
That is true. I mean, actually, that's something all the diversity, inclusion, and people who are working in data bias are actually advocating for. We should have everybody included in the data sets, especially people with disabilities or people with extraordinary disorders like autism. That they should be included. So, how do you think? Uh, I mean, how the entire world changed in the last 1.5 years. So, how do you think that has impacted all this dialogue around diversity, inclusion, bias, and your technology reaching I feel like there is a shift. Do you also feel that way?
Well, my life turned up topsy-turvy, so I can imagine how other people's life turned. I mean, um, a lot of things changed personally for me, and including my career. So a lot of things changed there, and it honestly, I think every individual changed in some way or the other. Um, Call it a blessing or a curse, but everybody questioned what they were doing. And as I speak to more and more people, they say the same thing. It provided, let's say, a comma or a semicolon to their hyper busy lives. So they got a few moments of reflecting on what they're doing, what do they really like, and what they really want to pursue in their lives. And I think that changed
Yes.
our outlook or our perspective of the world. And then, of course, the technology. Um, uh, there were so many use cases where technology had to be built,
Yes.
and you know, just what do they say? Necessity is a mother of all inventions, right? And so there is such a slurry of innovation for in technologies that enable people to work from home or to work remotely or to get tasks done that they were initially just running around. A lot of home delivery apps I see in India have just blossomed. Electronic payments, people who never used it are using it. A lot of bugs are being found and they're fixing it as well. So everything changed. And I think it will continue to evolve
Yes.
for the next few years at a very, very rapid pace. How our lives become the next year,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know. The way it looks, I stopped thinking about it now. But I'm sure it has changed all of us and our lives.
Yes, definitely. I think it has made us a little bit more humane. That's what I feel. Like we are a little bit more empathetic and more humane in the last 1.5 years than we have ever been in our lives, because
Mhm.
we saw so many deaths, we saw so many things, personally change, and also throughout the
Mm.
world that has asked us to focus on what the more important things in life. So you actually made a very drastic career change, and this whole panel is about career pivot. So anybody who is thinking going in the direction that you have now gone, and you have actually successfully launched your company now, so what is the advice you would give to them?
Wow. Okay. So early on in my career, I had a mentor, Selena, her name Selena. She told me, and I never believed her then, she told me, Pragati, always focus on acquiring skills, don't run after titles. Because early on in my career, I would want to be, senior this and then director and then, those kind of things. And actually, that really worked for me. As I moved around uh, the corporate world, um, from different domains, I think acquiring skills and building a repository of skills is is the most important thing. So when you're ready to make that big jump or make a shift, you're all set,
Yes. So
right?
that's actually a great advice. Acquiring skills is more important than titles, because it's the
Yeah,
skills that will eventually help you do things. It's not the title. The title
yeah.
doesn't do much, in my opinion.
Anyways, right?
Yeah.
People remember meeting other people. Oh, this he was a mobile expert, or this person uh, is a kick-ass program manager. Nobody says this person was a senior director or program manager or something in a company. The
Yes.
other important thing is also, right? Uh, it's easier said than done, but following the heart is fine, but uh, one has to use the skills that they have acquired to build a business around it so
Yes.
that they can sustain themselves. I have seen a few of my colleagues, one of them just jumped into music, right? And then suddenly was part of a rock band, left the job and everything. But we don't really want to be in a position where we are struggling for survival, right? So it's also important to use our skills, our network, and really build a business around it. So it supports us physically and mentally.
Such a powerful message. You are giving a lot of hope to everyone who is watching here on how to become an entrepreneur by, focusing on your skills and learning things as you go along. And there's so many nuggets of information you have given now. I mean, even I had to go back and watch this video recording to focus on that. Thank you, Pragati, for coming on such a short notice and, enlightening us with your wisdom and sharing your journey and this incredible organization that you have started now to help the autism community. Please keep us posted on, on updates on how things are going. And along with this video, we will include links to your organization and make sure you put out those calls publicly on your website so that people can do it, donate and, support your community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Susanna, for hosting me, and thanks to the entire team. Thank you.
Thank you.